Hello and welcome to Tactical Startup. I'm your host, Taylor Darcy. Today, we're going to be talking about automation and what it can do for your business. This is one of those things that you can really get lost in the weeds on. But it's important that every business owner recognize the benefits of building processes and systems into their business and not just trying to do everything themselves, especially when you consider that when you first start out, you are a one-man band. It requires all of your effort to do many different things. And so setting up automations and automatic procedures and using virtual assistants to supplement and to help you will give you the result that you're looking for. Namely, especially when there's something that can be automated and it should be automated. But let me be very clear on that. You shouldn't automate something just for the sake of automating it. You should automate it for the purpose of improving customer service, improving customer retention or client retention, or reducing your load so you can focus on the things that matter most to you. For instance, for me, I would much rather sit in a consultation with my client and spend an hour discussing how to improve their business than I would to sit there and worry about emails back and forth or making an appointment. And so I use things such as Acuity scheduling. You can also use Calendly, but I use Acuity. You'll find it in one of the links below as a way to help manage my calendar. So I have blocked off things in my calendar that the public doesn't see, that people can click on the link and schedule an appointment when I'm available without having to go back and forth of, when's good for you? Oh, this time? Okay, let me send you a calendar link. Everything gets automated through that. And it saves me countless hours a month to have them do that. And so it gives me the opportunity to spend time doing the things that, number one, make me money. And that's the truth for every small business owner. Automation should be the thing you do, the means to the end, not the end, right? You should be focusing on improving your client experience or improving your customer service, improving your products, doing the things that make you money, not the things that don't. And to that end, you want to make sure that you're not sacrificing client experience for automation. In other words, don't automate just and willy-nilly. Automate the things that you can in order to take things off your plate so that you're not wasting time or spending time on things that aren't bringing you value or not bringing your clients value. So automation is great. In fact, one of the things that you should focus on, especially in today's world, is email automation. Setting up procedures and processes so that drip campaigns, so that you can stay top of mind with people. Because one of the ways that people will sign up for a list and then never hear from somebody again. And then you're missing out on the possibility of being hired by them simply because you weren't focusing on the important thing, right? The whole point of an automation should be improving the customer experience and or improving customer relationships. I mean, for instance, if you have a list of 3 or 4 or 500 or 1,000 people, it's not possible for you to email individually each one every time. And so you're going to need a program for that. ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, ConvertKit, all of these different email marketers will give you the option to send out email blasts to help people to remember about you and to announce new products. There are a lot of times when you do something new and exciting, but if you don't tell anybody about it, then they don't know and they can't support you. And case in point, I purchased it's called Streamer Templates because I wanted to be able to build a live stream, and that's one thing that you'll see on this channel every weekday at 11 a.m. I go live. And part of that was because I was able to get customized streamer templates, and they made it to my business. You can get semi-customized ones, and you can customize them yourself, and it's just really super amazing. But had they have not emailed me about it to tell me that they existed, I mean, I was on their list somewhere. I don't remember. But if they hadn't have emailed me about it and told me that they existed, I would have never have known. That sale is directly attributable to that email campaign that they sent out. Now, I am not saying, like, here's one of my big pet peeves with this. When I friend somebody on Facebook or I friend somebody with LinkedIn and they add me to their email list and then send me a blast without me asking to be on their list, or not even consenting, like not even considering for a moment that I would want that, right? We've had no other relationship other than the 2-second, hey, maybe I might like to know you for this. And then you add me to your list, I will immediately unsubscribe. Just no thank you. It's not worth it. You haven't built any type of relationship. And more importantly, you know, talk to me first. Ask me if you can send me your newsletter or put me on your email list, because I might have said yes, but you didn't give me the choice. So do to others what you would like them to do to you. If you don't like that type of thing, then don't do it. And that's a big pet peeve in business, is a lot of lawsuits, a lot of things happen. Not because the product was bad. I mean, that does happen quite a bit, but because the management took an approach that put profits above people. And I get the whole shareholder primacy rule and whatnot, but at the end of the day, if you end up costing your shareholders millions of dollars, in fact, the most recent episode was Goldman Sachs. They're having to spend $174 million, and it's going to cost their shareholders lots of money, as well as their executives, because they made some bad choices. I mean, you just can't do that. You can't expect the people to you can't expect to make bad choices and have it not adversely affect your business. And so I would encourage you, as you're automating things, as you're looking at ways of automating, for instance, Facebook, they have messenger bots that you can send out. They can help you automate and help people to join you in live streams or schedule appointments, that type of thing. Those are very valuable because they can take the place of you having to do everything yourself. But again, don't let it hurt the customer experience. Don't let it hurt the customer relationship. After all, I was on a live stream earlier today with Live Streaming Pros, a company I've mentioned before. Very valuable company, or Live Streaming Pros, that is. They give tons of value. I love supporting them. That's why I send them out. I'm part of their Streamer Accelerator Academy, because I want to build a strong business that way. But David Foster mentioned a capture card, so you understand what a capture card is. On most cameras that are non-USB webcams, they don't feed directly into the computer. In order for you to get it to be a live camera, a live stream, or even just a video camera of sorts, you have to plug it into a device called a capture card. And a capture card then decodes the signal and puts it into your computer for viewing. I'm using a capture card right now for the video version of this podcast. And this company, who apparently was a reputable company before, took this capture card, bought it off of Amazon for $20 or whatever, that was a piece of junk, and are repackaging it to the tune of $80. They have now torched that relationship. And they probably have torched many relationships because they were trying to make a quick buck. And because of streaming with coronavirus right now, it has caused people to need those more often. And so they're willing to pay higher prices. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against supply and demand issues, But the end of the day is you want to make sure that you're not screwing over your client relationships to make a quick dollar. There have been countless instances of companies that have ended up in major lawsuits because they put profits above people. And Ford is notorious in many different categories of putting profits before people. And the Ford Pinto, a lot of people don't know that it was only an $11 piece that could have repaired the Ford Pinto to keep it from blowing up. But they chose, rather than, they did analysis. They literally figured out how expensive it would be to fight the lawsuits and pay the wrongful death claims. And because it was cheaper, they decided that they would rather, and this is stupid, they would rather fight the lawsuit and pay the wrongful death claims than to do the right thing. Don't be Ford in your business, especially with automations. Don't be Ford and make the choice that people are less important than profits. Another company that did something similar was McDonald's with the coffee case. Woman goes through drive-through and she gets a cup of coffee, puts it between her legs, and the lid pops off of it, which is, known to happen. They may not have put it on correctly. And she gets burns on her inner thighs. And it wasn't good. And that's very sad. And here's the problem, though. People thought it was about money issue, but it really wasn't. It was about McDonald's doing the right thing, because McDonald's, the media never talked about this, so you won't hear this on the media. But McDonald's had been warned about this for several years. They'd been told to lower the temperature of their coffee. Their goal, and the testimony of McDonald's employees, was to keep it hot enough to reduce the number of refills so that people wouldn't drink as much of it. So they would offer the free refills, but as a cost-cutting and cost-saving measure, they decided that it was more important to hold on the few pennies worth of coffee than it was to protect people. And so when she went through the drive-through and was burned on her legs and areas, the harm that was caused by that, and the reason why I went to trial, was McDonald's refused to pay for her medical bills. And she was severely burned. We're not talking like a minor scalding here. We're talking like a good amount of burn on her. I believe it was 3rd degree, if I'm not mistaken. And they fought it rather than just settling, which blows my mind as an attorney. I can't imagine fighting something like that, because you're fighting someone's pain, right? And they could have settled at any time. So when the jury then came back with a multi-million-dollar settlement, I don't remember the exact number, but I think it was in the 40 million, something like that. There was this huge uproar. The media just blew it out of proportion, saying how she was money grubbing and how she, all she wanted to sue was for the money and all this stuff. But what most people don't know or don't pay attention to was that it wasn't her that was asking for that settlement amount. And it wasn't her that awarded it. It was the jury that awarded her compensatory damages, which is the damages to compensate her for the pain and suffering. And then the jury awarded her what are called punitive damages. Punitive damages are meant to punish. Okay, so the goal was, the most of the damages was to punish McDonald's for their blatant disregard of people. You don't want to be on that side of things where you're getting sued for disregarding human beings and lives and who they are. that's not the place you want to be. Now, those are extreme examples, so I'm not suggesting that anybody will be doing those types of things, but I'm suggesting that as you work on your business and you're working on automating things and you're working on building your business, and hopefully you're doing it intentionally. I've talked about on my YouTube channel, which if you haven't, please subscribe to YouTube as well as the podcast. And I talked about getting capital. And one of the things that people forget is that it has to be about what the investor wants. But at the end of the day, you need to have a good product, and that product can't hurt people. That's the problem. And so, and that should be everything you do should be in that. Automation should be able to help you deliver a good product. Automation should be there to help you deliver a consistent product. I mean, Henry Ford, when he created the Model T, he said you could have it in any color you wanted as long as it was black. And I mean, the assembly line started with him, and we've seen amazing things happen because of the assembly line. And I'm so thankful for it today because we've cut costs. We've raised, we've had some amazing inventions, the printing press being one of them that was obviously not the assembly line, but the idea that you could automate processes and you could make them better and improve them is the cornerstone and foundation upon which capitalism was built. The cheaper you can do something, the better you can do it. And the more profit that you can make, squeezing every last penny out of your business. And absolutely, by all means, spend as much as spend as little as much as possible and get as much of a return on your money as possible. That is huge. Please, I am not suggesting to not make as much money on as little amount of investment as possible. But what I'm suggesting is that when you sacrifice your client experience for the sake of an automation or the sake of getting ahead, you're really, 2 steps forward, 1 step back in it. And I've just listed several examples that weren't necessarily automation related, but they were examples related to a failure in management, right? They failed to provide good customer experience at the behest of saving a few dollars. I mean, imagine someone's life not being worth $11. And again, these are extreme examples, but I want you to think about that in context with your business and everything that you do. I want you to think about the benefits of automating, of having Acuity, of having an email responder. Another thing is a funnel. Having a funnel that helps guide people to your product or service. Okay, there's a company, and Russell Brunson is very famous for this, of creating an easy way to get clients. That doesn't mean it's or easier, I should say. That doesn't mean it's completely easy. It means you still have to set up these funnels, and you have to set reminders, and you have to set people. People forget, things happen. They want to buy something and they get distracted. We live in an age where people are so distractible. It is so easy to go jump from one ship to another and one idea to another. And so you really have to work on getting people's attention. And so interestingly enough, it used to be 3 or 4 times that someone had to hear your name or see something about you before they would be willing to hire you for something. So you could get away with lower volume of amount of, and I like to call them touches. A phone call, a chat, a business card, a nice thank you note. Those are all still very valuable, and there are services that can automate that type of thing. I haven't found any recent for the thank you notes, but sending out a thank you note is a great way to help retain clients and retain loyalty. But at the end of the day, you want to focus on that client building experience. To give you contrast, and so here's 2 points. Number one, people give you 3 to 5 seconds on their website, on your website, before they'll churn the channel. That's it. That's all you have. 3 to 7, I guess, 3 to 7 seconds to get someone's attention, to give them a reason to keep scrolling. So, and it's 27, 28. I mean, the numbers are different, but it's 27, 28 of touches now that you have to have before people will pay attention to you electronically, because we are so bombarded with social media. Now, I'm not disparaging social media. I think it's a great way to connect. I think it's a great way for people to know about you and to spend time with you and to develop your business. You can get to know people for free. You don't have to spend a ton of money on advertising these days. Now, Google and Facebook and Twitter all want businesses to monetize on there. They all want you to spend money. That's the way you can get there done faster. But if you have the time and you don't have the money, you can make it. You can make people see you and know about your products very, very well. I want to tell you a story about Gladskin, a company who sells cream for eczema. Now, to give you full context, 3 out of my 4 children, I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, an almost 3-year-old, he'll be 3 next week, and a 1-year-old, and 3 of the 4 have eczema, and 2 of them have very severe eczema. And we have tried everything. I mean, we are talking, we've seen doctors, we've seen allergists, we've seen everything. The only thing we live in an apartment, and the only thing we can't seem to find is a way to do a water softener. That's the only thing we've got left. We've tried the creams, the steroids, the oral medications, everything we can find, and nothing works. And it's very painful. It's hard to watch your child scratch until they bleed. It is hard to listen to them cry at night because of how much they itch. I mean, it breaks your heart every time. And as a parent, there's nothing worse than not being able to take away your child's pain, right? There are so many things I wish I could do to help them, but it's just, nothing works. And so this company, Gladskin, they're not paying me for any of this. None of the companies I've mentioned are paying me anything. So keep that in mind. I'm not getting any benefit other than I'm passing along good information for my listeners for my podcast. Gladskin is they sell eczema cream. And my wife found them, and we were willing to try anything. So I ordered the smallest jar or bottle of it, and it was $35. And I'm like, if it works, great. I am happy to spend the money. But $35 isn't cheap for the amount of cream that they sent. It wasn't $35. Let me put it to you in context. I can buy Eucerin, like thick cream, 2 16-ounce jars for $25. So for a 500 milliliter, not even that, I think it was like 350 milliliter. I'd have to look at the amount. It was $35. So it was extremely expensive. And I bought it, and my wife started putting it on the kids. And we noticed an improvement. It wasn't perfect, but we noticed an improvement. And because 3 out of the 4 kids have eczema, we went through it so fast. I mean, insanely fast. We went through it, I think in 3 days was the total that it took us to do, to use that whole thing. So Gladskin, fast forward a week or 2 later, Gladskin sent me a message asking for a review. And I don't normally click on those types of things. I don't have time, and I'd rather spend it doing a podcast episode or helping others. And the company read my review, and I put it honestly. I thought it was a great product because it really actually did help my kids with their eczema. And I was disappointed at how expensive it was, because there's no way I could afford to go through that much in that short a period of time, even with the larger sizes that they had, because it was cheaper to get larger sizes, but it still wasn't cheap. So and that's what I told him in the review. I was honest. I mean, I thought it was a great product. It was starting to work, and there wasn't enough of it. Fast forward probably another week later, and I get a email saying that GladSkin had shipped me a new product. And I thought, okay, that's a little odd, probably a mistake. I didn't think they would actually be sending me a product. And they did. And I got in the mail, and probably about a week after that, one of their largest size GladSkin creams. Very surprising. And then the following day, it was funny that the package got here before the GladSkin did. The following day, I received a note thanking me for the review, telling me how grateful they were that I was able to review it, sad that we had run out of GladSkin, and they included some stickers for my kids. They sent me something that wasn't worth, it was worth quite a bit of money, but for relatively speaking, they did something that no one else had done. They went outside the box. They thought of better than just a thank you note for the review. I send all my new clients a gift as a way of saying thank you, because I know of hardly any, if any, attorneys do that. Because I want them to know that I appreciate their business, that I'm not just here to take their money. I'm here to help them, and I'm here to help you. And that's why I started this podcast, because I knew that I couldn't reach as many people one-on-one as I could through this podcast. And so I wanted you to think about that, how you can automate your business in a way through email marketing, Facebook, funnels, scheduling, however you need to, in a way so that you can do things like send personal notes to your customers, right? So that you can make a difference, because they didn't have to do that. Just like I don't have to send a present. It's not like when you buy a Coca-Cola or something big that you're expecting to get free something. And they have those cheeser contests that happen every once in a while. But at the end of the day, it's not really, they're doing it to get you to buy more Coke as opposed to getting you to appreciate them as a brand. So, keep in mind how important it is to make that client experience, focus on that client experience, focus on that customer experience. Because if you build that relationship through not only automations, but customer care, not just service, we're not talking just service, customer care, you will never want for business ever again. You will be successful because people will continue to do business with you. And I will tell you right now, it is a lot easier to work with clients that I've known for a while than it is to get new clients, because there's the whole trust factor. When they trust you and they know you and they like you, because you've built that relationship over time, you will never want for clients or customers again, because they won't have any reason to go anywhere else. So let me end just by saying, have a great week. And you're going to hear lots more. I've got lots of more guests coming. Last week you heard from Viviana Oropeza, and we're going to be talking with lots of different people to help you with your business, help you grow, and help you develop. And looking forward to it. Until then, grow your business intentionally.